everyone, and welcome to another Knitting Pastor Vlogcast. My name is Heather. I am your host, and for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back, and if you are new, thank you for coming and checking me out. As I said, I am Heather. I am a full-time licensed local pastor in the United Methodist Church, and I serve two small member rural congregations in Michigan, just west of Lansing, the capital, and I live in a parsonage near one of those churches with my two children, Abby, who is almost 14, and Philip, who is 9, and our Rhodesian Ridgeback, Flint, who likes to make noise as soon as I start recording things, and he does make appearances on the podcast from time to time. So to give you an idea, if you are new, what this is this isn't really a podcast per se where I sit down once and just kind of go over everything. It's more of a vlog style where you get kind of glimpses into my life, my knitting, my kids, my ministry, things like that. It is mainly focused on knitting, so it's geared mainly towards that. But at the beginning and the end, I do sit down and record kind of a longer clip where I show you where I have been knitting wise, and then there's a comparison of how the week has gone. Usually I would have recorded last week, but it was just kind of a busy week and nothing really happened, and I started school, and so it was just, there wasn't a lot going on that was very interesting, so I didn't really end up recording anything, and it was a long weekend, and yeah, so nothing happened. But in the last week, I started classes, so I am still going to school. I am enrolled in seminary, getting my Master's of Divinity degree so that I can pursue ordination within the United Methodist Church. That's a whole long, complicated conversation about how all of that works. So if you are interested, you can let me know and I can record something that talks about that. If not, it doesn't really matter. So I am doing that. I'm going part-time. I'm taking one course online, and then I am doing a face-to-face course this semester where I will be traveling on the weekend. So I'll go over on a Friday morning and come back late Saturday. And I'll do that 3 times. So those are the 2 classes that I'm taking. Those did start Tuesday. So I've been busy again with reading, and I've got a couple papers that I have to write every week. They're not long. So it's gotten busy. The kids are well back into school. This was their 3rd week of school. And they have kept me busy. We have not had busing because there's school of choice, which means we live outside of the school district, and that makes us responsible for getting our kids to and from school. The past 2 years, it has not been a problem because there's been busing. This year, for whatever reason, they did not have busing at the beginning of the year. And school is about a 15-20 minute drive one way, and their schools don't start at the same time. They start about an hour apart. They finish about an hour apart. So it was definitely complicated. However, yesterday afternoon, on Thursday, I did get an email from the transportation department, and they finally have buses. So that's going to make life a lot easier than it was before. So this morning, they got on the bus, and I haven't had to do a bunch of driving around, which is awesome. So I'm very happy about that. The one part that does kind of stink is that Abby has to get up an hour earlier than she did when I was taking her to school. So that part kind of stinks. Her bus comes at 6:30 in the morning, and that's pretty early. And we have to drive to the bus stop. So we're leaving the house about 6:15, although I think we might be able to bump that back a little bit. But it makes for an early morning for everybody. So that's not the greatest, but all of the back and forth driving around isn't happening, and that's kind of a big deal for me and for them too, because it was getting to be a lot on them too. So that's not happening. But let me stop talking about that, and I'll talk to you about what I've been knitting. So it's been 2 weeks since I've shown you what I have knit, and I've done some knitting. I finished, so first of all, I do have a finished object, and I forgot to put these on a blocker, so I apologize for that. I'm going to talk while I do it. So the first is a pair of socks that I was working on, and they're from Helen Stewart from her Handmade Sock Society, the season 2. I'm only going to put one on the sock blocker, and you'll see why in just a second. But these are the Cornish cream tea socks. This is one that is on the sock blocker. But it's hard to kind of see the pattern because it goes across the top of the foot. So I'm going to show it to you this way. So there it is. It's just a really pretty fan pattern. And these knit up super fast. I did, for the most part, knit them according to the pattern, except for the rib, or the cuff. I did a 1x1 twisted rib, which is what I always do. And so I cast it on before I really looked at the pattern. And I probably should have gone with the 2x2 rib that the pattern called for, but I didn't. The rest of it I knit completely to pattern, so I did a heel flap and gusset, and I did a rounded toe, which I think is what the pattern called for, but I would have done a rounded toe anyway, because that's what fits my foot the best. So yeah, these are the socks. I love them. They knit up really fast. I think they're beautiful. The yarn is yarn that I dyed myself, actually, and it's some leftovers that I had from my featherweight cardigan, and I had just enough. I had like maybe a gram of each of the cakes that I had left to knit those socks. So it was like a perfect way to use up that yarn, because I had about 70 grams, I think, of yarn left, maybe a little less than that. But I have small feet, so I don't use a whole lot of yarn when I knit. I can knit shorties very easily out of a 50-gram skein, and I can knit a decent length leg if I use contrasting color for heels, cuffs, and toes, because my feet are not very big. So those are done. I do have a half-finished object as well, which is a vanilla sock. And this is actually a sock tube, because I want to try an afterthought heel. I've never done that before because cutting into my knitting is a little bit terrifying to me. But I have finished the first tube. It's not a very long tube because, again, it's a 50-gram skein of Felici and I only have one. So it's not a super long tube. And then I marked this is where the heel is going to go. And I'm going to use this contrasting color here, this dark green for the heel. And it's going to go in there, and I haven't done it yet. And I'm not sure, I haven't cast on the second sock either. And I'm not sure if I want to cast on the second sock and knit the second sock and then do the heel, or if I want to just do the heel before I do the second sock. So if I screw it up, I might be able to do something with what's left of that yarn, like even if it's just a square in my cozy memory blanket or something like that, and have enough to do something a little bit more with it. So I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do, but that will probably happen this week, either casting on the next sock or trying the heel. So we will see. The other interesting thing that I did with these that I have not done before is I knit these on 9-inch circulars, which was the first time that I had done that. I bought a pair of Hiya Sharps, and the jury is still out for me. It was not my favorite. I didn't hate it, though. It definitely took some getting used to as I went along, but I haven't really decided what my feelings are on that yet. So the jury is still out. I will knit another vanilla sock, either the complement of this or another pair on it, and then I think I'll have a better idea of what's going on with that. So those are the things that are like finished, but I have a work in progress. And I don't think I had cast this on the last time, so you'll be a little bit surprised. But I decided to cast on the Comfort Fade cardigan by Andrea Mowry, because I have had this yarn for almost 2 years. Like, I bought this yarn, like, seriously 2 years ago, right after Christmas, wanting to cast on this sweater, and I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I decided this was a piece that I wanted, especially because the weather is starting to cool off and it's starting to feel very fallish, which is making me want cozy things. So I cast on my Comfort Fade cardigan, and here it is. I am on the third of the four colors on the body. I'll turn it this way so you can see the back. But yeah, I'm really, really liking how it is turning out. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the reverse stockinette, but I like it. I really do like it. And I'm really happy with it. We'll see how I feel once I'm purling on the sleeves. I know you can do them inside out, but I probably won't fiddle with that. I'll probably just purl them. So I am pleased. I did knit this as a size medium, where normally I would have knit this small, but I wanted it to be a little bit bigger and more oversized, so that's why I went up a needle size one size. And when I did a gauge swatch, I was just slightly under gauge on the needles that I was using. So it's just slightly under gauge. But if I went up a needle size, I would have been over gauge. So that was another reason why I went up a size too, because my gauge was just slightly off. And I didn't want it, like I said, I want it to be a little bit more oversized and just kind of a comfy, cozy thing. So the yarn that I'm using is from Goosey Fibers. It was a kit that she had made. I have no idea if she has these kits in her shop anymore. But I think she still has like all of the colors. This first colorway here, this gray, is called Stardust. And then the second color here is Diagon Alley. The third color, which I am on, which you can't see real well, but I'll show you the cake because I got the cake here, is called Hagrid's Hut. And then I did bring the skein. This is the fourth color that will be faded in, and this one is called Hide Behind. The base is her Goosey Squish, so this is a DK weight shawl, which is making it knit up super fast as well. And I am really enjoying it. I really, really am pleased with the colors and the way that they are fading together. And I really think this is going to be a nice kind of go-to, chuck on, keep warm, be cozy sort of garment. So I'm really happy with that. But that's all that that's what I've been working on, is primarily this, and then these socks, you know, is just kind of the mindless stuff. But I'm pleased with it. Knitting time is going to go down now that classes are back in session. So I don't know, you know, I knit most of this in the week before classes started because I didn't have coursework to do. So I had that extra time. And so that's why this went as quickly as it did. So I don't know how long it will take me to get much farther on it. But the good news is it's just starting to go into fallish weather. So it will definitely be done before the weather's warm again. There's that perk. So, okay, I have talked for quite a while at the beginning of this. So I'm going to leave it there and go do some more things before I have to go get kids from school. And I will check in with you guys a little bit later. I got some fun mail this afternoon. This is the Lily's finger painting yarn from Legacy Fiber Art. So this is dyed by Chelsea and inspired by her daughter Lily. And it came today, and oh my gosh, I am so in love with this colorway. It is just, it's beautiful. I couldn't be happier with this. And I have all these ideas in my mind about what this could possibly be. The colorway is called Footprints, and I got it on their steel toes, which you can see right there. And yeah, I think it's just beautiful. Very, very beautiful. So I'm kind of thinking a 2-color shawl, maybe with some, like a navy tonal to go with it. I'm not sure, but definitely gorgeous. Definitely going to do something fun with that. Hi guys, it's Saturday, September 7th, and I just got home from doing a graveside memorial service. And then going over and getting the luncheon started at the church. So I'm back home now, and my plans for the rest of my Saturday are basically to write some papers, because I have every week for one of my classes, I have 2 short papers that I have to write. And those are due Sunday night at like midnight. Well, 1 a.m. my time, because I always forget that my seminary is in a different time zone, and so all of my due times and stuff are at that time zone, which is behind me. So that means that I have a little bit more time. But I don't usually like to wait that long anyway. I wait long enough as it is. So that's going to be a lot of what my afternoon is. If I can knit some, I will. But I'm not sure how much knitting I'm going to get done today. But it is turning out to be a beautiful day. It was pretty overcast and looked like it wanted to rain, and was pretty cool this morning. So I actually wore hand knit socks to the graveside service. But it is cleared off, and the sun is out, and the sun is shining, and it's turning into a really nice day. And if I didn't have to work on a computer, I might sit outside. But it's hard to work on your computer in the sun because you can't see very well. So, but I'm going to open up the windows, get some fresh air in the house. Flint has found himself a sunbeam, so he is very happy. And I will talk to you guys a little bit later. So it is a Sunday afternoon now, and I have finished my 4th color, or my 3rd color, not my 4th color. And I've caked up the 4th color, which is this, called Hide Behind. And I have just put in the first 2 rows of that color. So if you look at the stockinette side, you can see I am starting to fade that in now, and it is coming along really nicely. I tried it on to see what the length was going to be, and it's a good length. I still have, this color to fade in and add in the hem, so it should be a nice length to go. This was the color that I've been working with, and then this one will fade in. So I'm really pleased with the way that this is coming together. It is now Thursday, September 12th, and this has proven to be a really full week so far. There's just been a lot going on, so I haven't really recorded a ton, but I wanted to just check in really quick with you guys and share with you this really crazy experience that I had last night. So it was Wednesday night, and it was quite hot here yesterday, Wednesday. It was in the high 80s and really humid and really muggy, and that's a little bit uncharacteristic for Michigan and September. Although at this point, I feel like saying anything is characteristic when it comes to the weather is kind of pointless because it all seems to be very uncharacteristic right now. So I had a class at my one church that is about 10 miles from where I live and my second church. So it's about 10 miles away. And we're in a very rural area. And there's lots and lots of cornfields, soybean fields, wheat fields, like lots of farmland. So there's not much by way of civilization. And it's fairly flat. A little bit of hill, but it's a fairly flat area. So last night, a storm front was kind of coming. And I was at this class at my one church, and we were getting ready to leave, and everyone kind of pulled out their phones and was like looking at the radars on their various weather apps. And it looked like the storm was kind of north, which my house is north, but more north than where my house was. And it didn't look like storms were close. So I left, and as I was driving home, I was seeing a lot of lightning. And it wasn't raining or anything like that. And it was like a little bit windy, but not anything super crazy. the kids were at home because Abby is almost 14 and they get along super well, and I did not realize that we were supposed to get like severe thunderstorms. So I'm driving home and I can see a lot of lightning, and so I'm like, I'm hurrying because I can see a lot of lightning, and I know my kids are at home and my dog doesn't like lightning and thunder. And I'm probably a mile or 2 miles away from home when all of a sudden this alert goes off on my phone for a tornado warning. And it says like a tornado in the vicinity. And I didn't really know if that just meant my county, if that meant like within a certain radius of where I actually was. I didn't really know what that meant. So I'm driving, trying to get my weather app to open on my phone, which I don't normally would not be doing anything while I was driving. But I needed to know like where the storm was, like what was going on. So I pull it, so it's not opening. I'm trying to get home. I'm like also kind of looking around because there's a tornado somewhere. I don't know where. So I get my phone. It finally works, and I glance down to see where it says this is, and it's like 4 miles from my house. And I'm on my way to my house. And so it was really intense. It was, like I said, it was dark, so I couldn't really see the sky very well. I could just see the lightning. And it just so happened that lightning lit up the sky, and I happened to look, and I'm almost 100% sure that I saw the tornado. It was really kind of intense. It was a little freaky. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get home like right now. So I was almost home when Abby called me, and they had already gone to the basement and everything like that. So I got home and like ran in the basement. And it turns out that that's where I saw it is where other people saw the tornado. So, and it touched down somewhere. So there was some damage. There was not any damage done to my home or anything like that, but it was kind of an intense and a little bit of a scary experience. I've never seen a tornado like in real life before. And that was really not the way that I wanted to experience that, as I'm like frantically trying to get home to my kids. So that was a little exciting and a little intense. We had a lot of adrenaline kind of pumping through us, and I think we all kind of had a rough night last night. So that was quite an experience, let me tell you. But we're all okay. Everything is okay. There doesn't seem to be any like major catastrophic damage from the storm. Everyone I know is safe and made it home okay if they weren't home. So, but it was interesting, let me tell you. So I have my sock tube, and I thought that it might be fun to try to video myself doing the Afterthought heel. I have no idea how this is going to go, so this could be really amusing or it could be really successful. I don't know. I've watched a couple tutorials on how to do this. The one that I liked the best was from Amy of the Stranded podcast, and I think she's Stranded Dye Works as well. Anyway, I liked hers, and so that's the one that I'm going to kind of base what I am doing off of. So I thought, like I said, I would just video this and see how it goes. I apologize if like it gets to be difficult to see because I haven't not done this before, so I don't know how this is gonna turn out. So I'm gonna start by picking up the stitches. So right here is where I am going to be putting in my heel, and I've marked it with a little stitch marker here. But it's not hard to see because it's like right here on this this stripe. So I'm gonna start picking up my stitches, and we'll see how this one goes. Wish me luck. So I picked up the first 34 stitches along here, and I picked up 34 because I have 32 on a side, and it was recommended to pick up 2 extra ones. So I've picked up those stitches, and now I am going to pick up my second row of stitches. So here we go. Okay, so I have both sides picked up. I have my little scissors, and here it is. Moment of truth time. Time to cut my stitches. And I'm just gonna reach my hand in here and just like make sure that like I'm only cutting one part of it. So I'm gonna cut in the middle to give me a little bit of room here. So here we go. I've got it. And I have cut it. Moment of truth. There it is. Did I do this correctly? I guess we will find out here in just a second. All right, so I have cut my stitch, and I'm gonna unpick all of this and see where we are at. Okay, well, I did it. I successfully cut my heel. I haven't started to knit it yet, but there it is. That was a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie, but it seems it worked. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my contrasting color, which is this dark green, and I'm gonna start knitting the heel. I think I'm gonna knit just one round, like straight around with my contrast color to get me started before I start doing any decreases, but I did it. Whew! That was a little bit stressful, but I did it, and it looks like it's worked. So we'll see how it goes once I've actually knit the thing up. Right, there we go. There is my heel has been picked up. I've got my contrast color going. The one thing I did notice is that I picked up the wrong arm of the knit stitches, so I had to knit through the back loop when I was adding this to get them situated the right way, but I should be good to go now, and I'll start my decreases, and I did it. I did an afterthought heel. Well, almost. So I have finished my heel. I don't know if you can see it very well. And I've tried it on my foot to see how the fit is, and the fit is okay. I only did one round before I started decreasing. I think the next time I do a pair of socks with this, I will do a couple more rounds just to give it a little bit more depth, because it's kind of like, this is where my heel starts, is like right there, and so it's not quite on it, but the fit isn't too bad. The other thing I think I would do, I don't know how well you can see this because this is dark yarn, but I did the decreases like I would on a toe. So I knit the first stitch, and then I did the decrease and it made this wide band. So I think the next time I would do the decrease on the first stitch and not have these 2 stitches before the decrease happens. So I think, so those are some of the changes that I would make. The fit isn't too bad. And it really wasn't as bad as I was afraid that it was going to be. I cut it successfully. So I have successfully done one afterthought heel. I have not cast on the second sock yet, but I will do that pretty soon here. So yeah, I am pleased with how these have turned out. Hi guys, it's Saturday afternoon on September 14th, and I thought I would just wrap up this vlog for the week. It was kind of a tough week. I was feeling pretty poorly most of the week. I still don't feel super great, but so that kind of really hindered a lot of my productivity. I was able to still keep getting stuff done for school and work, but beyond that it was kind of a struggle this week. I'm just really feeling kind of rough. But yeah, I just wanted to wrap this up and show you some of my knitting progress. So I did already show you that I finished one of my socks that I was knitting, that I was doing the afterthought heel, and you will have seen me putting in that afterthought heel, which wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. I think you just have to get over that initial, oh my gosh, I'm cutting into my knitting feeling. But once you do that, it really wasn't too bad. In the video that I made where I was showing you my sock, I told you a little bit about some of the alterations that I would make the next time around. I don't think I will make those to the second sock because they won't match, and that will bother me. The stripes don't have to match, but the construction needs to be the same, if that makes any sense. And it will bother me, I think, otherwise. I still have not cast that second sock on, but I will do that. I don't know if I will do that later today or not. It really just depends on how I am feeling and where I am going from there. But the only other thing that I've been working on this week, besides the little mini socks that I've been doing for my advent calendar, which I'll show you those next time, I think, instead of showing those this time, because for one thing, I don't have them with me, and for another thing, I feel like showing them every time it's like 1 or 2 little socks. I don't know if that's worth doing or not. I don't know, maybe you want to see them every time. But I am knitting my 9th one right now out of 24 or maybe 25, because there was a full skein included in that advent calendar, and I certainly have enough that I could knit a mini sock out of it left over. So I don't know if I will do 25 or not. Maybe I will. I have time to decide. But the other thing that I have been working on has been my Comfort Fade cardigan, which here it is. I am almost done with the body now. I have maybe another inch that I'm going to knit it before I start the ribbing. The pattern, according to the pattern, I'm at the point where I could start doing the ribbing, but I think because I like my sweaters to be a little bit longer in length, I think I'm gonna give it another inch and then do the ribbing, because I have plenty of the yarn left to do that, and that would be okay, I think. And I've tried it on, so I know roughly where it is falling on my hip line right now, and that's why I'm thinking another inch, knowing that it will grow some with blocking because it is a superwash, but that's my personal preference and what I think I'm going to do. So I am really pleased with it. I'm really liking it quite a bit, and it's been fun, and it's actually been pretty quick. It is a DK weight sweater, so it does knit up relatively quickly. I'll just tell you the colorways that I am using. I don't recall if I said those at the beginning of these vlogs at the beginning or when I started this. So the yarn is from Goosey Fibers, from Caitlin of Goosey Fibers, and I'll have a link to her shop in the down bar below. In fact, any of the yarns or patterns that I talk about, I will put in a link down there that's about the extent you get of show notes for me, because I don't have time really to do formal ones, but I do try to link the stuff that I've talked about in case you're curious about a pattern or a yarn or anything like that. So this first color here, that's this grayish color, is called Stardust. Then this lighter bluish color in here is Diagon Alley. This blue, the third color, is Hagrid's Hut. And then this final color right here, which is really kind of a peacock blue, I would call it, is called Hide Behind. And I am just, the color fade is perfect. This is my color palette, like very much to a T. I like blues and purples, so this being all blues really is exactly what I wanted. And it will be, I think, a fantastic sweater to just kind of chuck in and wear everywhere, really. So I'm very excited about that sweater. That's all I've got for this week. The rest of the weekend, church services tomorrow. Phil comes home tomorrow. Tomorrow's actually Abby's birthday. She'll be 14, which is kind of crazy and hard to believe. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to see her because she will be at her dad's, which is kind of a bummer, and she's kind of bummed about that too. But I guess she's having some friends over this weekend, so that will be good. At least she'll get a little something birthday-wise at her dad's. But she will be coming home Monday, and after I get her from diving practice, Philip, and I are going to go out to dinner at a restaurant in town that she would really like to go to. And I have knit her a sweater, which I don't have out here with me, and I can't really show you at the moment, but I did knit her a So Faded pullover. She picked out the yarn. I am a little concerned if she's going to like it because it's pretty pink, and she's not really a pink girl. So that concerns me a little bit, so I hope that she likes it. I hope. But anyway, I'm also taking her kind of on a little mini shopping spree to Barnes & Noble because she's not, she never wants anything. She won't tell you anything that she wants. So that's the only thing I can think of for her birthday. So that's tomorrow. And then just another week. I want to thank you so much for checking me out this week. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And it was kind of, like I said, a little bit of a crazy week in some ways. I didn't feel real well. I almost got blown away by a tornado. All exciting. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And I won't be with you next week, but I will see you again in 2 weeks. In the meantime, happy knitting and enjoy the rest of a beautiful fall. Bye, guys.